Good day, listeners, watchers, and people still serious about heavenly stuff. The video today is about the book of Leviticus. It's a very long book, but I'm dividing it into sections. So today I'm doing chapters 1 to 3. So what I'm doing here is translating from the original text, which is the Bantu language, and the Bantu language is the Xhosa Bible, okay? The Xhosa language. So I'm translating from that language to the English language, okay? So I'm translating the Bible. I'm reading word for word, verse by verse, okay? You will see, and I'm highlighting all the disparities, mistranslations, and I'm also explaining the cultural things that an English person won't really necessarily understand if they don't understand the Xhosa or the Bantu, okay? Culture and language, all right? So now, starting with so wherever there is no change, I'm not doing anything, you'll see. I mean, it will just be, nothing. But then where is the change and the stuff, you'll see. I'll make, commands and arrows and, explanatory notes too, okay? So now let's start with the first verse. Chapter 1, Leviticus. Okay, this book is very important. It took me a whole lot of times, but now, since I'm doing it in sections because it's too long, way too long. So I'm doing 1 to 3, and that 1 to 3 is going to take too long even. Okay, so I've been quiet trying to tackle this book word for word. Is a whole lot of mistranslation. I gotta tell you right now, it's a lot of mistranslations, a lot of explaining to do. So that's why I'm dividing into sections, so to keep y'all in context. Because if I throw at you the whole thing at the same time, it will be so confusing. So I'm doing it in small releases. Today I'm releasing first chapter 1 to 3. Okay, next probably in 2 days time I'll release 3 to 6 or whatever. Okay, but I've done all of it, but I just want to release it in small doses. Okay, so now let's start in the first chapter. First chapter 1, nothing different. Okay, so whatever you're reading in the Bantu Bible on the right hand side, which is a Xhosa 75, is the same as that King James Version. Okay, so let's look at verse 2. Now, number 2, they've eliminated the whole line over there, which I'm not really sure why. And that line is of 4-legged things. I mean, that is important to know that it's 4-legged things, but now here, in the English, they just say, if any man bring you an offering unto the Lord, it doesn't say what offering, okay? Yeah, well, somewhere down the line, they imply that it will be a flock, it will be a calf, then you assume it's probably 4-legged. But now, the Xhosa original text had the line that said, of 4-legged things, okay? Where's the toes in there, which means of 4-legged things, all right? Here's Google Translate. I threw it in there for you. So, I don't really need to put that Google Translate because I know the language. I'm telling you what the language is saying. But if Google Translate is close to the right translation, I'll throw it in there for you too, okay? But if they don't, I don't even bother put it in there. All right, so 4-legged things is missing on the English one, but it should be there, okay? Now here, another part in the same verse 2 is, impahla mfutshane is goats and sheep, okay? That's one word, which means impahla mfutshane, which means shorter herd or shorter flock, okay? That's referring to now that's excluding the cows and the bigger ones, horses and stuff, okay? So now here the English says even on the herd and of the flock. I mean, it's not, the herd and flock is not saying goats and sheep, okay? Because the original text said even of goats and sheep, was specific, even of goats and sheep. Now the English version just says even of the herd and of the flock. So wishy-washy, okay? So I gotta explain to you what impahla is. It means goats and sheep, period. Nothing about herd and flock, okay? Because it's specifically goats and sheep. Nothing else included in there. No pork and anything, nothing, okay? So here, go on the next. Now number 3, verse 3. It means of cattle, okay? Not of herd. Herd of what? Cattle. Gotta be specific. Gotta say what the original text says. The original text says which means of cattle, okay? There we go. There's even a little picture there. So of herd, no, it's not specific enough. Gotta say of cattle, okay? Go on. Here's another part, another thing. Now, the English doesn't even say a male or whatever. I mean, a male of what? Okay, we gotta be. No, the original text says a male cow. It was so specific, a male cow. The English just says a male. Male what? Okay, so we gotta read what the original text said. and not get confused, because once you only read this English and you get all kind of caught up in all kind of pagan stuff, because now you start quoting all these verses and say, no, it says male, be arguing out there, only find you're not even reading the original text. The original text was clear, male cow. Okay, so you have to know the original text, what it said. So I'm translating, I'm helping you out, so 1 to 3 today Leviticus was saying male cow. Okay, didn't just say male. And then they'll be throwing goats and all the kind of stuff in it. Talking about, no, it just said male, it wasn't specific, and then we're allowed to put in anything. These preachers be talking, supporting. No, it said male cow, okay? So gotta be specific. Iduna is a male cow. And actually even said, iduna is a male, okay? But now here it says inkomo is a cow. Inkomo iliduna, a male cow, right? Could never overemphasize it. Let's move on. Now, in number 3, you see, number 3 has got a whole lot of. Now, it says, make him acceptable. When you say, he shall offer it of his own voluntary will. No, it's not his. He ain't got no choice. He's sacrificing, he's making an offer. There's no will of the person that is offering. Okay, the only reason why he's offering is not because of his voluntary will. No, ain't got no choice. It's not about him. It's about the offer. It says he's offering ukuba limkhole. That means to make him acceptable. Okay, see this whole rebellion, demonic rebellion spirit in there? No, we have to understand the right text. Okay, the original text said make him acceptable. Ukuba limkholekise. Kholekise means to be acceptable. Okay, limkholekise means to be acceptable to the Father, Sonini, who is he's sacrificing to. Okay, but not of his own voluntary will. Oh, English rebellion. No. Okay, let's fix that. Okay, and now there's in colleagues back again. Verse 4, they're repeating the same mistake again. It shall be accepted for him. No, not accepted for him. It's about the Father. So that means make him acceptable. So the Father is the one that decides whether he's acceptable or not. Not him, his own will. He's acceptable for him. It's for him. And no, it's nothing about you sacrificing person. You a sacrificing person, you might be acceptable or not. Okay, so the Sonin is still gotta make that decision to accept you or not. Okay, so but the demons who are translating this, they are skimming that part as if he ain't got no choice. No, he has a choice. Sonin has a choice to say you accept it or not. So he provides the person who's sacrificing brings something that is what's specified by Sonin, that I will accept. It's something without a blemish, a male cow, blah blah. And then so that you bring this to be acceptable, to make you acceptable to me. Okay, not on your own will, or it shall be acceptable for him. No, it shall not. So that it's a condition. Okay, that you can be acceptable or not. Okay, now 5, that kill thing. It's not kill, it's slaughter. Okay, I don't know why English put kill in there so that they can run around and say, no, the Bible says we can kill. Look. See, the Bible is contradicting itself. He said, thou shalt not kill 1 minute, and then all of a sudden he said, you shall kill a bullock. No, kele is not the same word as kill. Okay, kele means slaughter. The original text on the right hand side, start there, y'all. When you read the Bible, start reading from the right hand side. Now I'm talking in context what I'm doing now. Start reading from the Bantu that I'm explaining now, so you can understand what the English should have said. Okay, because now it's clear the original text was in Bantu language, what you're looking at on the right hand side. So kele means slaughter. Okay, not kill. All right, I'll show you just now another word for kill in Bantu. Bantu says kill. Bulala is a totally different. Kela is slaughter. There you see at the bottom. The Google and Straight got it right. I don't know why the English, they didn't get it right when they put in the Bible. It's actually, I know why. It's actually because they want to support all them killing, talking about it's allowed in the Bible. So Bulala is kill, okay? That shall not kill. When Sonini gave us that command, that rule, which is not a 10 legal 10 like I showed in the other video, you see that it's item number 13. It's part of the full law that's given. It's not 1 to 10. It's still. So when he said thou shalt not kill, he said you shall not bulala. All right, not trela. You shall not trela. No. You can trela. You can slaughter animal, right? But you cannot bulala. You cannot kill. Okay, you understanding that? Now 9. So 7A is good. 9, elitozama. Tozama says to calm down. Tozama, to calm down, okay? So it's a not sweet, not sweet, it's of a sweet savor. No, it's of a calming savor, okay? Savor, smell, okay? Calming. So you can understand how humane-like is our Father, Heavenly Father. So people can start relating to the Heavenly Father, to Sonini Nanini, as if they're talking to their dead. Because I have a lot of people be asking me, how do we pray? How do I pray for this? I made a sin yesterday and this. How do I ask for forgiveness of sin? How do I pray? The only answer I give to everybody who's asking me is, how do you ask for forgiveness from your dad at home? Do you close your eyes to your dad? Do you talk to your dad, right? Say same thing to your Heavenly Father. The fact that you don't see him don't mean that he don't exist. You are created in his image. So the way you are relating to your Father on earth is the way you should be relating to your Father. This is a father, okay? The only difference is he's up in heaven, so you have to give an extra respect. He's the creator of all things, the owner. You should, but you talk to him as if you're, oh, I'm sorry, be yourself. You don't invent words and try to look for jargons, something that the preacher be saying and it's repetitive. You don't say stuff that's already pre-written somewhere, okay? You just say your own words. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Hey, I don't know what I did. I avoid slang, okay? Avoid slang. So just talk respectively, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. But be yourself. Just be yourself, okay? Talk like you're talking to your dad. All right, and then ask for forgiveness. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And the way when we were walking, I couldn't see clear. The skirt was short. Say whatever. I mean, be yourself. Okay, right. Okay, so that's calming, not sweet service. Calming. Okay, get the right word. Now here's another kill again. Slaughter, kill. Please, it's slaughter, not kill. Okay, go on. 16. It says, shall remove what it ate in the stomach. Now, this translator was totally confused with this one. The English translator, he totally didn't understand what the Xhosa person is trying to say over there. So you can actually see the Kumcha people, they call it Kumchen text, because this original text was originally translated in Kumcha, which is called Queenstown now. But it's Kumcha, it was called Kumcha then, all right? So Kumcha people probably didn't want to take part in all these translations because they would have translated this and clearly said, no, indlelo is something that, when an animal was eating something and it died, you open the stomach, what you find in the stomach and intestines, depending on how with the process, that's called indlelo, okay? So here it says, asuse indlelo yalo, and everything that means to remove what it ate, that's still in the stomach and intestines and all that inside it. Now, the translator says, shall pluck away his crop with his feathers. Oh, please. Okay, they just didn't understand what they were reading. Okay, why would you pluck away his crop? What crop? With his feathers. Oh, that's it, okay? That's just totally out, okay? It shall remove what it ate inside the stomach, and all that is inside. So clean it inside. Everything that's inside, clean it out. Okay, and cast it beside, whatever. All right, so just get it straight. Now, let's move on to chapter 2. Chapter 2, it says white frankincense. I've even put a picture of what Nhlaga look like. Okay, you find it in all kind of trees, and it just look like that, Nhlaga. For some reason, Sonini likes this Nhlaga. He likes putting it on when you do a food sacrifice, because now there won't be that fat thing that will be smelling like a grill, because he loves this grill smell. So instead, you got to put that thing on top of the food that you're sacrificing over there. Okay, because now you put the wood, all the fire, and then you put that food in there. But then for that smell thing, you got to top it up with that Nhlaga on top of all that food. Then you burn it. Okay, then it's still that nice smell that if same as the with the animal sacrifice. Animal sacrifice, you don't need to put that Nhlaga on top because it's already got fat in it. And so instead, put all the fat covering, the stuff that's inside, all that fat. That's the one that he wants to smell. So you put it on the altar and you sacrifice it. You burn it in there. So that grill smell, it smells good, and he loves that smell. All right. So now that Nhlaga, so this chapter 2, verse 1, is talking about Nhlaga Mhlawuli, which means white frankincense. So there's different colors. There's a red one and stuff. So here he wants a white one. Okay. But now the English just says frankincense. They don't even say which one. Okay. So you must understand that it's a white frankincense. There you go. Now, just to give you a little bit a history about this Nhlaga, which is now the frankincense. it's on the way it tastes like. I mean, when we were kids, we used to try, eat this thing. It don't have a taste at all. I can tell you now. It don't have a taste at all, but it's a little oily. Right? A little. If you squeeze it, you look at your hand, you'll see a little bit of oil, but then it don't taste like you try to bite it, because we used to think that it tastes like some gummy bears, the gummy candy. No, it don't taste sweet at all. Okay, it's just a little bit of background if you don't know what this is and what it tastes like. So he says in Kalemso. So carry on. 2. Now burn on its memorial. Okay, you shall burn this sacrifice, burn it on its memorial. That means on that day it's sacrificed for. Okay, on its memorial. Now here, the English just says burn the memorial of it. Now, how you burn something? You burn the memorial out of it. It's like you're burning the memorial of it. No. You burn on its memorial. Ngesikhumbuzo sawo, on its memorial. Okay, that's what the original text said. The English one is just missing the point. Okay, that shows that whoever is translating there was sleepy or whatever. I don't know, because a Bantu person would have seen that. Oh, ngesikhumbuzo sawo, on its memorial. But now whoever's translating don't really understand Bantu language, and probably the Kumkha people didn't want to take part. They were just resistant to help. Okay, so there you go. Now let's carry on. 4. Flat little breads. That's what the original thing is. Zongana is this stuff, means flat little breads, which is that little picture over there. Not wafers. I don't know where they're getting this wafer thing, because they're trying to put all this fake Jew stuff, putting wafer everywhere. No, it's flat little breads, okay? The breads that's baked without leaven. You don't put yeast in there. You flatten it out, put a whole lot of oil in there, probably an egg to make it rise up a little bit. But you don't put yeast. Not wafer. That wafer is made of something else. I don't know what they mix in that wafer, but it's not. Original text said flat little breads, okay? Not them wafers, okay? So you understand that. So 7, cooked in a pot, not frying pan. It don't say baked in a frying pan. It says okuphekiwe, which means cooked in a pot. So if you bring an offering, that's cooked in a pot, not a grain offering baked in a frying pan. The English is just totally missing this part. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that this English translation is missing, and if you just focus on that English translation, you don't understand the Bantu, you'll miss what we're supposed to be doing and how. Okay, so I'm really, trying to help you out with this thing here. It took me a whole lot of times. I had to be tied up with a whole lot of things, but I made time for this thing. So just listen carefully now. So, cooking a pot. Like you see in the picture, the mom is, baking in a frying pan. No, that's not a frying pan. It's a pot. Okay, so get that straight. Okay, maize meal. Now, in this Bantu language, it will say which means fine or grinded maize. Okay, umgubo is like grinded maize. Okay, it was even for flour, it was the same word. But now you person who's cooking, for bread, this is the type of grinded grain. For another kind of meal, this is the kind. For another kind of meal, this is a different kind, okay? So, if for example, you're making cornbread, you're not going to use flour for cornbread, you'll use cornmeal, okay? The grain that's coming from corn. But if you're making a cake, if someone said, I want flat cakes and stuff, you're not going to bring corn, you bring flour, you use flour for that particular one, okay? But in Bantu, it will be same, umgubo, all of it is umgubo, okay? But umgubo, what kind? Now, this particular one in 7 is maize meal, okay? There's no way you can make food with flour, okay? It will all be bind up. You bake with the flour, right? So here, when it says fine flour in the English, no, it's missing the point, because now they're already trying to imply that you're baking this meal. No, not everything is baked. Sonini wants food that is made which is the maize meal or corn meal. All right, that's what he's looking for. Now, here's an example. I'm showing you a picture of what he's talking about in verse 7. Verse 7 is talking about this right here. So, grinded meal, that's the one you make food that you cook in a pot. Okay, that's why the English is even putting frying pan. No, it's a pot. We're talking about a pot right now. Okay, different from the other previous verse I was talking about frying oil and pan. No, this is this is what you do. You add. These are the ingredients of doing. I mean, a lot of people that know how to cook, they'll know these are the general ingredients. Only difference is for sonini, you put yeast and honey. If you're gonna put it up there to be burnt, okay, and put that nkaka on top, frankincense on top for that smell, you're not gonna use yeast because he don't like burnt yeast. He don't like burnt honey. Sonin don't like those two things. But then if you're going to bring a sacrifice that has yeast and honey, sure, you can bring it. He says you can bring it. I'll show you further down in this text. He said you can bring it, but it must only end in the first part of the sacrifice. Okay. But must not go up to where you're starting to burn stuff now. It must not go to the burning altar. Okay. So now here, the ingredients is here. Right? You understand now what we're talking about. Cornmeal, this is the kind of meals that Sonini is referring to when he's talking about food offering. Okay? Right. Go on to 8. 8, 9, 10 is good. So what you're reading in the Bantu, same as what you got on the left-hand side in English. Okay? Go on. Now 12. I'm skipping 11. 11 is good. 12. 12, I just thought, let me just rephrase because it's so unclear in the English side. The English side is for oblation of the first fruit. We're not talking about first fruits here. This because now some people will think that okay, this is it's as if you're talking about the feast of first fruits. No, no, no. We're not talking about the feast of first fruits right here. Okay, we're talking about Son is wokuqala, which means you bring the Lord the first part of the offering. So when you're offering, the Levite is there. He's taking whatever you're offering. So he talks, so Nini apologize, and then if it's an animal, you put your hand on the animal. That's way before the second part, which is the burning. Okay, so the first part of the ceremony is when the talking, the putting your hands, transferring all the sin what you've done into the heifer, whatever you're sacrificing, or you talk over the food you're bringing. That's the first part, which is the yeast and honey is allowed. But now the second part where the Levite the priest is supposed to take that animal. If it's an animal you bring it, take it and slaughter it in the entrance of the tent and take the fat and burn it in there for the fat. No, that's the second part. Okay, so here we're talking about that first part, not first fruit like the first feast. That's why I'm rephrasing this part so it's clear what we're talking about. Okay, so not oblation of the first fruits, no, of the first part of the ceremony, okay, of the first part of the offering that I just explained now, where you're bringing the stuff, you talk, you ask for forgiveness and stuff, and then if ever it can go on to be burned on there, yeah, or the Levite can take it, because now everything that is brought in is for the Levite to eat and take home, so it is for the Levites, right? So now, let me show you how this can read according to the original text. You can bring them to the Lord for the first part of the offering, but must not be burned as offering on the altar for the calming savor. No, he's talking about stuff that got yeast and stuff that's got honey. All right. He says, no, okay, I understand y'all, you're baking your cakes with yeast. You want it to rise up and stuff. You want it to look good, but don't burn that yeast for me. Okay. You can bring it and, ask for forgiveness and whatever, and I will accept it, but don't dare to burn it in my altar. That's all he's saying up there. Okay, I'm paraphrasing it, but you gotta understand what's going on, okay? Because if you just read that English, and for believing first fruit, you shall offer them unto the Lord, but you shall not burn on the altar for Israel. It's so unclear, it's vague, okay? And you might be confused, all right? So that's why I'm explaining to you that first part, first round, it ends there. If you got yeast. If you don't got yeast, it can carry on to be burned, but then you gotta add that frankincense, that ntlaka, which is a little fatty, at least for that smell, because the cake won't give that smell, it will just be burnt smell. But then if you put that ntlaka, that frankincense, put it on top of all of that, then it will give that smell, nice smell, when you burn it in the altar, okay? Right. Carry on. Now, chapter 2, I'm only doing 1 to 3 right here, okay? Chapter 2, it says, shall be salted. Not shall offer salt. You don't offer salt. You just, when you cook, this is, something is just like you, okay? Why people treat me like different? Why would you offer salt? Would you eat salt on your own? No, you would not eat salt. What makes you think something who walked 2 feet too like you? Why would you think someone is going to eat salt? Shall offer salt. You don't offer salt. You cook food, you put some seasoning, but the seasoning he wants is the pure salt. Okay. So you make you, shall be salted. It's got salt in it. When you cook it, you add salt. Okay. That's what 13 is about. Whatever you cook, you gotta have taste in it. That's what Sonini is saying. All right. He says God have salt, not shall offer salt. No, you don't offer salt. You cook with the salt. Shall be salted. Your food got to be salted. Now 14. Oh yeah. Now green ear. This one is totally out. Okay. The translator totally did not understand what that is. So let me explain to you what this is. Green ears of corn is that ripe corn cover, those green covering of corn like that picture there? That's what that means, okay? So oyinto ezisilwayo ehle yavutwa. Ezisilwayo, it means, covered with that corn, covered with that green ears. Okay, that's what the green ears of corn and fully ripe. Okay, that's what that is. Ezisilwayo and it's fully ehle yavutwa. Vutwa is to be ripe. Okay, so so you must get the top of the cream of the crop kind of thing. Okay, so that was, but now in English is the green ears of corn dried by fire. I mean, really? Even corn beaten out of it. They're guessing now with the second line because they're like, okay, yeah, the first line it don't really make sense. Green ears of corn dried by the fire, and then they carry on, comma, they add on another line. Even corn beaten out of full ears. They don't even know what they're talking about there. That's why they even put two lines. You can choose whatever you want. Both of them don't make sense, okay? So now, green ears of corn and fully ripe. That makes it. I kept the ears thing just to be consistent, but actually it's the green covering of the corn, okay? It's the covering. But let's keep ears because the English use ears in first so people can understand, okay? Right. Now, this same 14 got another issue again. He said, the English totally excluded this part because now they don't know what they were confused in the first part. Now they're going to totally excuse this one. It says, wasondeza ikweba. Ikweba is the best cooked portion in a pot. Okay, I put an example now. Ikweba is when you cook, there will be some parts in the pot that will be burned, and then there's some parts, especially when you cook grain, like ground cornmeal and those kind of, so there will be some parts that will be burned, like closest to the pot and stuff. So somebody said, no, don't give me that part. Give me ikweba, the part that's nicely cooked inside the pot. That. But something is so specific. He knows what he wants, and he know how we all cook. Because now he understands. He created us. He know what's going on. So he said, don't bring me ikweba. Now in the Bantu language, the ikweba is that milk, the part that's nicely cooked, and then injuela is the part that's burned closer to them. I'm just also throwing in some lesson for you now to understand. Injuela is the burnt part. So he don't want injuela, he want ikweba. Okay, that's what he said. Now, whoever is translating English is, I don't know, he just excluded that whole part. Just excluded the whole part. Deleted it from the verse. Okay. So y'all understand now what Sonini wants. He wants the best part, and the corn grinded freshly, ripe, and gotta be cooked, and take the nicest cooked part in the pot. Bring it to him. Now, here's that burned on his memorial again. Not burned the memorial of it, burned on its memorial. Okay, on that day, he was brought in. Don't put in a refrigerator and say, okay, we're going to burn it tomorrow instead. No, you burn it on his memorial on that day, on that memorial, on that day he's brought in. Okay, you burn it then. Guess kumbuzo sawo. Burn it on that, not burn the memorial of it. The English person really didn't understand that verse. I can see even the previous one. He keeps repeating the burn the memorial. Why would you burn a memorial? How would you even do that? But anyway, burn on its memorial. That means the food gotta be burned on that same day. Don't store it. Don't keep it. It might get spoiled. Something wants fresh stuff. It was cooked today, brought, burn it. Same day. Okay? If you don't got yeast, remember now the rules. Okay. Now, chapter 3, 1 to 3 is good. I'll pass by. Now, here, 4. All the way from the kidneys area. So that means, so not with the kidneys, it shall be taken, shall he taken away. No, you don't take nothing away. Okay, except you're just taking the fat out of the kidneys. Not with the kidneys shall he taken away. It just sounds so confusing. Okay, I'll rephrase this for you. All the way from the kidneys area. That means when you're taking the fat from the inside, that's the fat now you're going to burn as a grill offering up there for someone to smell it. Okay, so you got to take all the fat around the kidneys and around the chest, the fat covering the inside. So that's the fat he's talking about here. And even banned everybody from, Bantu people are not allowed to eat the fat of the inside. You know that, right? You cannot eat the fat of the inside animal. All right, so you can't do that because sonini. So sonini is clearly stating here. I'll show you further down the line a little more detail on this. So he says, from the chest, lungs, liver, all the fat covering that. Starting from the kidneys, that's what they also says in that means start all the way from the kidneys area. Okay, not with the kidneys it shall be taken. No, he's missing the point, whoever is translating it. Okay, I even put a little picture there of the fat I'm talking about. Okay, let's move on. Now 5-6 is good. What you read is good. So msila is a tail. Okay, clear tail, not a rump. A rump is the part you see from your lower waist down just before the tail. That's called a rump. Like you eat a rump steak, a rump. That's the meat cut from that part, which is a butt. In other words, if it was a human being, it would be the butt meat. So rump is that area. No, now here it's not the rump that Sonny is talking about. He's talking about umsila, a tail, clear. Okay, not the rump, right? So he says you gotta cut the tail just where it starts. Okay, umsila, upela, all of it. Boom. Okay, and he actually even specifies in the next verse I'll show you just now where you're supposed to cut it. Just here he says cut the whole tail off. All right, that means you cut the whole tail off. And then he goes on to, no, not the rump, the English is just missing it. He even goes on to say which means at the base, at the dock, where it starts, right? That's in right there. Okay, so now the English is talking about hard by backbone. No, you don't. Shall he take off hard by the backbone? It don't even make sense. Totally don't make sense at all. I know you understand now. At its base, which is the dock, I even make a picture there that you shall cut it over there. Okay, this is building from the previous part that I was reading for. Which means the whole tail, from where it starts. English is missing the whole thing. The fat thereof and the whole rump it shall he take off hard by the backbone. Really? How you take a rump off by the backbone? Don't even make sense. But now if you're doing the ceremony, you understand that, oh man, I gotta cut the whole. Now this is now when you're sacrificing a lamb. Okay, not the cow anymore. We're past the cow. It says when you sacrifice a lamb, gotta make sure you cut that tail off. You can't bring stuff that's got tail. You gotta cut that tail off from where it starts. So you cut the whole tail off. Gotta be completely out from the dock onwards. Okay. English is confusing you. It's talking about the rump and backbone. No, cut the tail off. That's all. Okay, that's what it says. Okay, 11, 12, 13, good. Okay, what you read is good. Oh, okay, we're doing good. Now, 17. I was just emphasizing the part when I was saying, Sonini says, Bantu people are not allowed to eat fat at all for generations to generations, forever. Gona pakade, read there with 17. Napakad means forever, okay? Bantu people, children of Israel, you cannot eat meat forever, okay? Now, whatever rule is given to the children of Israel applies to the whole earth. Because now, only salvation is for the children of Israel. If now you're on earth, you're doing your own things, guess what? You're going to hell. You have to come and follow what the children of Israel is doing, because all the laws were given to, when Shanin is giving it, says, tell the children of Israel, tell the children of Israel. Now you if you want to get salvation, you copy the children of Israel. You don't want to wait there, because Shanin is not going to say, okay, now change focus to the Gentiles. No, he's not going to say that. He just said, Moses, Musa, go to the children of Israel. Tell them. Okay, tell them. Now, whoever is trying to listen, good, and then just follow whatever the children of Israel is doing. Because now, those are the children that's going to be saved. Okay? No, you have to convert and copy what the children of Israel is doing. So now he says, all the children of Israel, you cannot eat fat. Okay, that means everybody else who wants salvation, who's trying to copy children of Israel, cannot eat fat. Okay, don't eat fat forever. That's 17 saying that. Right? Guess this is the last chapter. Oh, well, yeah, that was the last chapter. So everybody, if you're confused, you need some questions and stuff, ask me. Feel free to ask me. I'm here to answer all the questions. And if you need clarity on anything, just ask me. Okay, I know a lot of people be sending me requests about John. I've covered the whole verse or chapter, book, the whole book. Actually, I've covered the whole book. It's on there. So if you want, just scroll through and find your 10th chapter, whatever chapter you're looking for. Okay. But then in Deuteronomy and other parts, I haven't covered the whole book because it's too long, way too long. I mean, it took me almost a whole month to finish off this Leviticus, because word for word, each word means a whole lot, because this is Sonini's appointed times, Sonini's laws, Sonini's right ruling, and so we have to be so careful of how he said we gotta do stuff. Okay, so that's why I'm reading word for word, trying to be careful. Okay, so everybody can understand what original text said and what we're supposed to be doing. So throw some questions. I don't mind. People say, I know you're busy. And no, I'm not too busy for you. Okay, so you have to, you can throw whatever questions, you can put a list. I'll get to it and answer that list. Okay, all right. Cheers. Bye.